What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. Today we're playing a 3-2 zone. We have a special guest for you guys. YBB Sports Data is on the line too. But everybody, please give our sponsors right there on the screen a quick follow at 7Stack Sports, the best book on Twitter. They do same-day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency, reduced juice lines, minus 105 for NBA. And the best thing right now for baseball, both MLB and KBO, you can do -1 or +1 lines, which is awesome. So definitely check them out. Give them a follow. They're already over 10,000. So let's get them to 15,000 followers. All right. So you have the one and only Dead Prez Picks on the line. And then our special guest, YBB Sports Data. YBB, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a good morning, except for the Milwaukee Bucks choking a double-digit spread last night. So that was fun and exciting. But I'm glad to talk about the slate today at hand. But yeah, yesterday Milwaukee just not a fan.
Not a fan. All right, let's just go ahead and talk about last night. So the Bulls beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. It was a late game, 114-110 on the road. Dad, you had the luckiest +5 live cover I've ever seen. You want to talk about it?
I did. Yeah, I mean, that looked dead, right? I mean, that second half, they pulled within 4 in the third. Bulls were able to answer every call, but there at the end, yeah, Bucks down 5. They turn the ball over. It looks like they're going to foul and lose by 6 or 7. But, yeah, we got a turnover from the Bulls and then a foul with 0.1 Well, actually, yeah, 0.1 or 0.2. So there wasn't even time to foul, and they threw the ball in. So Grayson Allen, he missed the first one, made me sweat a little, but we cashed it ultimately. But yeah, bad performance for the Bucks.
Did you notice that TNT actually put the final score up wrong? Yes, they didn't even count the free throws. Yeah,
they also said it wrong. Gus Johnson said 114-109, and I was like, wait, was there like an error? But now we got it home. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah. All right, let's get into that first game. Nets, Celtics. A lot of people picked this series to be the best series in the first round, and now it's 2-0 Celtics. They won yesterday 114-107. Terrible second-half performances by Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. YBB, any thoughts on this game?
Man, that's they've blown 12 double-digit leads already this season. They're just untrustworthy when they're up pretty large in the first half, especially when they're on the road. They did good, but it's Kevin Durant, I think he went like 0 for 10 or something like that in the second half. Yep. He's just been really quiet. I would like to see the series go 7 games, especially, with the Kyrie narrative, the revenge factor, but I don't know, man. It looks like Celtics in less than 6, in my opinion. And they're a decent road team too, so I don't know. I think that they have the Nets covered pretty much everywhere, and everyone was blowing that proportion or that narrative that Robert Williams being out was going to be like a key factor, but I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know. I hope it does go 7 though. I think it's the most exciting round 1 series in the playoffs, but yeah, it's been disappointing.
Yeah, my thoughts on that is even though it's 2-0, I still do think it's going to go 6 or 7 with Boston winning at the end, especially if it's the 7th game in Boston. But, man, those were 2 duds of performances by KD. 0 for 10 in the second half. Kyrie 1 for 7. So together they were 1 and 17. Dad, there's rumors that your boy Ben Simmons is returning for the Nets in either Game 4 or Game 5. I think that's going to be a net negative for the Nets. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he'll play a lot of minutes, right? If he does come back, he'll obviously be on a minutes restriction. But, I mean, I still think the Nets have a good chance to win the series. Obviously losing those 2 in Boston, both games that looked like they were going to win, to be honest. Obviously the buzzer beater, and then last night they just kind of choked that game away. But they've been so close with Durant playing as poorly as he has, and I hate the Nets more than anyone. But I think they'll get these 2 at home and make this thing stretch the series out. But yeah, the Ben Simmons factor, I mean, it's intriguing to see how will he perform. Obviously, he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Offensively, we know what can happen if you put him at the free throw line, but we'll have to see. I just can't imagine he's going to play a big role. Like, I just don't see him playing a lot of minutes. He hasn't played all season. It's tough to say, hey, here we go in Game 4 of a playoff series where these guys are at full, go. So it'll be fun to watch, but I don't see him making much of an impact in this series.
All right, Dad, these next couple minutes are going to be yours, man. What a game by Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid last night, buzzer beater, game-winning three-pointer in overtime. I'll tell you this, it was a hell of a shot, but in my opinion, the Raptors choked. Precious Achiuwa with 2 free throws at the end of regulation, and then the Raptors again had 2 free throws right before Embiid shot there. But talk your talk. Tell us why Embiid is the best player in the world and should be MVP.
Well, I could go on for too long here, AC, but I'll keep it short and sweet. I mean, last night, again, just showing off why, in my opinion, I mean, what he's been doing all season long, obviously should not go unnoticed. But the thing with Embiid and the Sixers team was these are the games in years past that they would lose, right? The games that were tight at the end, they just wouldn't be able to finish them off. But last night, I mean, even Doc Rivers, who I'm always hard on, he calls that timeout. With what was it, like 1.8 or whatever on the clock, and sets up a really good out of balance play. They end up knocking down the shot, but I don't think it's close. I mean, all I'm hearing with Jokic is his stupid Raptor and advanced stats that I can't keep up with. I go by the eye test. Jokic is going to lose in Series 1, and obviously the Warriors are better than the Raptors, but here's the thing also with the Harden, people want to say Harden sucks until it's Embiid has so much help because he is Harden. So you have to fall on one side of the hill. Harden's not what he was, obviously. We know that. He's not as good as he was in his Houston days. But you know what? Embiid's getting this done. He's going to sweep the Raptors. We're going to go into Miami and take care of that series. So I'm not worried. I'd rather get a ring than an MVP. I'm sure Embiid would too, and time will tell.
The second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs is shaping up to be crazy, right? We have Miami and Philly most likely, and then Boston, Milwaukee. We'll see how Boston and Brooklyn pan out, but Boston, Robert Williams, like YBB mentioned, he should be back for that Milwaukee series and Giannis. But man, those are going to be 2 amazing series. YBB, don't you have some Philly connections or background on your end? So how do you feel about Embiid and the Sixers?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance. To be honest with you, the Philly narrative actually comes from my dad. He used to live there, and I went to my very first NFL game was an Eagles game. I never went to like a Sixers game as a kid or anything, but I mean, it's a cool franchise. Good. I mean, they have good fans. They're very passionate about the sport. But I don't know, man. I feel like the Raptors just kind of. I was leaning them too, like pre-game, and it was looking good. And then, yeah, like you guys said, they just choked it. Yeah, I have no words for the Raptors. I didn't really have any action on the game. One thing that I did notice, I was paying attention to the score. Like in the fourth quarter, I was like, man, this feels like an overtime game. I looked something up, and in round 1 of the playoffs, when teams are coming off an overtime game, the following game is 13-0 to the over. So I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if we're going to see some market corrections to, make you want to play the under. Like for game 4, I haven't seen any opening lines, but I would be interested in the over for game 4. I'm just looking ahead, but yeah, last night the action, good win by Philly. I do think they get the sweep, but I think they lose to the Heat.
Yeah, so that's we'll get to that later. I do want to just shout out YBB here. If you are just getting exposed to YBB for the first time, he's a big numbers guy, big analytics. He has a ton of systems and a ton of trends that he really leverages in his handicapping. So definitely give him a follow, give him a shout, because you're going to definitely be a smarter, better just by following him. All right, before we get into tonight's slate, Dad, let's shout out 7 Stack Sports, the best book on Twitter.
Yeah, guys, so give them a follow at 7 Stack Sports there on Twitter. 24/7 customer service, same-day payout, cryptocurrency, serving 2,000s of customers. It's hit 10.1 on Twitter. Let's get them to 15K. We're doing giveaways all week. Marlins let us down last night, AC, but we were on a hot streak with those collabs. So keep your guys' eye out for those. $100, just giving them away, 4 to 5 times a week. So giving away big money. Give them a follow. Hit them up today. Also, -1 lines in the MLB, which not a lot of books will offer. So make sure to take advantage.
All right, man. First game, Dad, it's going to be the T-Wolves and the Grizzlies. You want to break this down real quick?
Yeah, I mean, this is I just wrote up a piece over at Odds Checker for this one. Me and you jumped on the series, right, when they got down to -120 after that first game loss. It's obviously it's a similar line to what we saw last night with Philly. The better team goes on the road and they're -2. I don't. This is what I'll say. I think either the Warriors lose tonight or the Grizzlies lose tonight. I'm saying the Warriors lose tonight. I have to root for that Mickey MVP Jokic, but I'm going to do it tonight. I think that they get it done. The Grizzlies get it done here on the road. They were a great road team. Minnesota was a good home team. So I mean, those narratives kind of cancel out. But I just like this Minnesota or this Memphis team to come in tonight. They play fearless. I don't think the road aspect will really bother them all that much. And the Timberwolves are looking to win their first series since Kevin Garnett AC. So it's been quite some time. I don't think they get it this year.
All right, my thoughts on this game. I think I'm going to go opposite of you, Dad. I kind of like Timberwolves tonight. You know how I feel when D'Angelo, Anthony Edwards, and Karl Anthony Towns play together. The threesome there have the best splits in terms of offensive rating in the NBA. And you throw in some really key role players, Jaden McDaniels, Beverly, Malik Beasley. Like that's not a bad team. And I know the Grizzlies are the better team. They're the number 2 seed in the West and have been better all season long. But from a talent discrepancy, I don't see that much different in this game and in this series. So I do like the Timberwolves with the caveat, if the Grizzlies go down 1-2, I think they do sweep the rest of the way and win in 6. So I like the Timberwolves tonight. YBB, what are your thoughts?
So this game is really interesting, and what it comes down for me is the Timberwolves. They have no defense. There's back-to-back games where they're allowing 60 points in the paint. That's just horrible. You can't do that against a team that's going to attack. They're getting cat and foul trouble. We're seeing a ton of fouls being called, and I think that they just go right back to the blueprint. They're going to attack the paint. Now, what I will say is that the Timberwolves, they can compete with any team in the NBA on offense. But on defense, they're just a liability right now. And one thing that did kind of pop out to me was home dogs that are six seeds or lower, so 7th or 8th seeds. They're just 4-19-1 against the spread when they have at least one series win. So basically, the favorite.
The Raptors. Oh wait, the Raptors came in 0-2 yesterday, but yeah, they still lost. Now that's a good. So you're basically saying the higher seed, and in this case, the Grizzlies usually take care of business.
Good win against lower seeds are pretty much taking care of business. But yeah, that's 6th, 7th, and 8th seeds. Another thing is that I noticed is Ja Morant, he's coming off a game where he only scored 23 points, but he was really efficient, dishing out the ball. The Grizzlies, they are 19-4 against the spread when Ja Morant had at least 10 assists in a winning effort. And they are 10-1 against the spread when that winning effort came against an opponent that they previously beat. So for me, it's just like they're going back to the well, they're going back to the drawing board, and they just have the Timberwolves number. But it's just tough to fade the Timberwolves knowing that, the firepower that they have on offense. I think the best look in this game, just a degenerate sprinkle for me, I'm going to bet overtime. Just the overtime prop.
I love it.
Points. Can't go wrong, really. It's game 3, and we saw in overtime last night, game 3. And tonight we got 2 tight spreads. I might just sprinkle the overtime props on all 3 games to be completely.
Why not? Should hit one.
Yeah, I mean, one of them, right? I mean, last night, 1 hit. So I don't know. We'll
see.
see.
What kind of odds are you getting for overtime props?
Plus 900.
Okay. So you just need to hit 1 in every 10 games. I like
it. One a week.
Or if there's a series game that goes to overtime more often than not, it's game 3. And you're giving me these spreads that kind of indicate a close game. I mean, I might as well just sprinkle it, but I don't recommend it for anybody. It's just a degenerate personal look that I like to do just to, get some skin in the game. But yeah, this is a tough look for me. I don't want to back the Grizzlies because with all the trends that, support them, it's just the Timberwolves, they had a very lackluster performance. Like D'Angelo Russell, Cat had 5 fouls. Everyone was their plus minus was all negative. For me, though, the reason why I would back the Grizzlies is just because of their length on defense. Like Kyle Anderson, people, they don't give him enough credit, but that guy has the highest plus minus on the team. He's good on defense. He's a smart IQ player on offense. They have less turnovers when he's on the court. So I think, I don't know, they have the lineup to beat these guys, in my opinion. So.
All right, Dad, you want to go into game number 2 tonight?
Yeah, so let's get into it. We got the Jazz and your Mavs there, like that little zip up there. You see, oh, and the hat. I didn't even notice the hat. All Mavs out tonight. The status of Luka Doncic looks more encouraging, obviously, than it did a few days ago. The line's 7, so obviously if he goes, it won't be 7. But we get Utah back at home. Obviously, they split the series. I think it was huge that Dallas. We were on the Mavs last game with the points, and they ended up winning it outright. Obviously, now if Luka comes back, series is back on. But what do you think? In tonight's game, guys, if you have any lean, you guys can kick it off. I'll take it last. So, EC, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for me, being a huge Mavs fan, obviously, I actually don't want to see Luka playing this game because I think Utah is going to win regardless. I think Utah, first game back at home. There's a lot of negative news about that team in terms of like camaraderie, whether they like each other. Is the coach going to stay? Like everything is negative with Utah. I usually like to back negative news like that. So I do think Utah's going to win regardless of whether Luka plays. So with that said, I would rather have Luka sit out this game and get ready for game 4. Because if we get into game 5 with a split 2-2, then I do think the Mavs can win this series. But it's been really interesting, right? Utah has one of the best offenses in the league. Dallas has one of the best defenses in the league. And what Dallas is really shutting down for Utah are those 3-point attempts. They averaged over 37, 38 threes a game in the regular season, and now they're sub 20 attempts in these first 2 games. That's a drastic decrease. And I think Dallas is just going to continue to run them off the 3 and make them drive. And then on the other hand, Dallas is actually getting a ton of wide open threes themselves. They got 17 uncontested threes in game 2, which is a record in the NBA playoffs. They just don't have the talent right now to knock it down. Maxey hit 8 threes in game 2. I don't see that happening or replicating again. They just don't have the elite spot up shooters to take advantage of those uncontested threes. But I think over the course of a 7-game series, that's going to fall in the favor of Dallas. So I still pick Dallas to win the series, especially with Luka coming back. But tonight, I think I'm going to go Jazz -7 if I had to bet.
YBB, what do you think on this one?
This is a tough game to break down. The very last game, the Mavericks, they hit 22 threes. But if I told you, that they were out-rebounded by 20, they were outscored in the paint by 20, it just looks like the other team would have won. I mean, we're getting the same line on a play that, did not cash for Utah last time out in Dallas. So this is an interesting look. If I had one specific lean in this game, I would say the under. I think that the Jazz just kind of they try to limit the 3-point attempts from Dallas. But I agree with AC. I hope Luka doesn't come back because that would be the only way I would look. And I am tempted to play it only because the Mavericks this season, they are 0-8 over under following a game they won without Luka. So basically the next game, they're a half court team. They it less and
before we get to Dad, people don't realize Dallas is an under team and has been all year long with Coach Kidd. They just play really good defense and they play really, really slow. So
really,
you think Luka and you think all these guys are going to be scoring a ton, but they actually play a really slow pace. Go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking Jazz blowout, assuming no Luka. It reminds me a lot of this Grizzlies-Timberwolves line that we saw a couple nights ago where it was at that -7, 6.5 spot. Mavericks did their job, honestly. Winning a game without Luka, they had to split that and just wait for reassurance to get him back. They knew coming into this series without Luka it was going to be tough, but they did their job, right? It's a new series at this point. It's a 5-game series. As a fan, I hope he plays, right? I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch. I'm sure he's most people's favorite player to watch. But I think if he goes tonight, it's game on. I don't think necessarily they lose, right? It's the Jazz first home game. So I think he'll do everything he can, but no Luka tonight. I think it's going to be a Jazz rout, especially after that first game.
If the Jazz lose tonight, they're done. Go ahead and blow up their team now. Like they're done if they lose tonight.
Well, there's a lot of turmoil there too, right? With Mitchell and Quinn Snyder's been reported to be a name in the Lakers discussion of head coach and some other places. So I agree. I mean, I think they're kind of on thin ice where they're a team that if they get their backs against the wall, they're going to shut down rather than come together. So I agree with that. All right, guys, final game of the night. We got the Warriors and the Nuggets. This one should be good. Another 2-point spread. We've seen them in all games, right? Philly goes to Toronto, they're 2-point. Minnesota Grizzlies go to Minnesota. And now the Warriors going to the Nuggets at 2. Now, I will start this one, guys. I'm on the Nuggets here tonight. On the money line, I think they do bounce back. This is just purely playing this off the line because as good as the Warriors have looked, and now they're just a -2 favorite tonight, I think the Nuggets get this game. I think Jokic actually has a big bounce back game. They're going to need some other guys to help out, obviously, whether that's Barton or Aaron Gordon has been brutal through the first couple of games. But I just think it's a good spot. I think they steal this one, and then I think the Warriors win in 5. That's my prediction. But tonight, I do like the Nuggets to get this game. What do you guys think?
My look here is actually a player prop. I do think Jokic is going to have a great bounce back, but not scoring wise. Draymond Green is actually doing an awesome job on him, locking him down. But I think rebounds and assists over 21.5 is a look because I think he's going to have like 15 boards easy. So he's going to be able to dish and really, run the offense from the high posts because, like I said, Draymond, you can't back Draymond. Like he's so strong on the block. So I do think he's going to be able to dish it out and then also get enough boards for that over rebounds, assists, 21.5.
YBB, you have any thoughts on this game? Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. Arguments are good sometimes in sports betting. This are solid, but I'm gonna go with the Warriors. I think that they sweep the Nuggets. If you're telling me that the Nuggets' biggest threat is Jokic, and you got Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, they're doing a good job, really, limiting what he's doing on offense. I mean, he got frustrated and ejected last game. Like, I don't know. I think they're in his head. He's basically all they have. Monte Morris, I think, is their second best option. Yeah, Aaron Gordon, he's cool and all, but he hasn't really, he hasn't produced much on the court. I also enjoy the fact that the Warriors, they've really adjusted and they've brought Stephen Curry off the bench. That's a huge factor. Like now they're, when he comes in, it's just like an automatic spark. So one thing that I also took note of is that the Nuggets are a horrible home team when they're coming from a road game. They're just 3-14 against the spread. They're 0-6 ATS and straight up as a home dog off a road game, and they're losing those games by an average of 12.3 points per game. So they basically, when they come home, they play flat, and it doesn't matter if they came off a loss on the road, a win on the road. That's just travel. It's just a travel factor. And then to add to that, the Nuggets are 6-19 straight up and 8-17 against the spread in games they allowed their opponent to score 120 points in back-to-back meetings. Their defense is not there right now. I think that the Warriors have their number. I think they sweep these guys, and better luck next year. We'll have Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter Jr., but I don't see this Nuggets team going far if you're solely relying on Jokic to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, so how do you feel if Embiid sweeps the first round and then Jokic gets swept in the first round?
I feel great. Well, not tonight since I've been on the Nuggets. But that's why I think people say playoffs shouldn't play in. I think it should play in, too.
It should. It does remind me of 2007. Dirk won the MVP, number 1 seed, and they lost to the Warriors in the first round. And he has to accept his award like 2 weeks after the season ends because no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah, come on. I don't know. But the votes are in. I mean, I think it's over, unfortunately, in favor of Jokic. But I'll always make the case for Embiid, and I think it's very realistic at this point. Obviously, for them to get swept, but I just think tonight that they have to lay it on the line. They lose this game, obviously they're not coming back. They win this, they have some life, maybe.
All right, so this final segment, we do best bets. YBB, go ahead and give us your best bet. It could be NBA, hockey, or baseball tonight.
Man, yeah, my best bet today. I'm gonna stick with the Warriors. I'm pretty confident in them. I think they blow these guys out. I think the Nuggets come out hot, in the first quarter, maybe first half, but I think that they get too comfortable and lose the game outright. Probably lose by double digits. Warriors is my best look. I'm gonna sprinkle the overtime prop on all 3 games. Game 3 has the highest probability to go into overtime, so why not?
All right, for me, I'm gonna go to the baseball diamond. I got the Marlins wrong yesterday, but I'm gonna get back on that horse. I like Oakland tonight. It's actually an afternoon game, but they're playing Baltimore. It's game 4. of their 4-game series. They're at home, coming off a loss. Starting pitching matchup is a huge, in favor of Oakland A's today. So give me the A's minus 120. Dead, over to you.
All right, I'm going to go back to the Marlins, even though they let me down yesterday. And now they're pretty good pitching advantage here with Pablo Lopez, who's pitched well against the Cards. I think the Marlins end up salvaging the series here and grabbing a win to avoid the sweep tonight in Miami. So I'll go with the Marlins on the money line.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again for joining us today. YBB, thank you so much for jumping on and being a guest. We'll definitely have to have you on again soon. Everybody, good luck on your bets tonight. Have a good one.